Hey, just a channel update. I did delete a number of videos, and it's a quality control issue. I'm not working off of notes, and the microphone situation is I guess it's bad. I'm not really sure of what the issue is, but I'm using the phone mic now. I thought that the other one would have improved the sound, but I don't really feel like saving anything until I get the quality back up, or at least get some kind of standard. And then I kind of have this notion of printing out my notes for the day. Instead of using a computer, I'll have my phone and I'll just go off of my notes. If we want to keep up with things and be topical and do Metascript breakdown. Although the value of that right now may be less of a priority than other things. Right now I'm kind of looking at wrapping up the PSYOP trading cards. That's a huge priority. We want to get those into the wrappers. But anyway, we'll be on a regular schedule at some point soon. But until then, if you catch me live, just know that it's probably going to be deleted unless it's high quality. I'm kind of deciding if I should do a separate podcast. Like I have the IPS Deprogram, but maybe I need something else. Something a little less focused, but with a broader focus. Because there's a lot going on that I don't really discuss that might actually be relevant, like side projects and things. Like I have this side project that I've talked about for some time regarding my theory on synchronicity, which places it above apophenia, but beneath the idea that it's some kind of divine message. I'm re-examining a lot of things, like the concept of magic itself, but subtracting the assumption of the supernatural. Let's just presume that these have natural explanations. Look at the empirical research, find out what can be predicted and tested. And the experience of synchronicity is poorly defined, which is why it's poorly understood. And there's so many different ways that people describe these things. Because one, you could just say it's a coincidence that makes you feel special. It's like, well, no, it's not just a meaningful coincidence. Others will say, well, I see the number 55 everywhere. Okay, well, there are certain reasons why you would see some repeated things. And misattributing it to some kind of higher meaning is somewhat fallacious. Especially if you're really just hacking into an aspect of your own mind, like the reticular activation center. And then there is the bias selection. And we have to understand all the erroneous explanations so we don't fall for them or use them or get what we're describing conflated with that. So for example, we have been dutifully recording, noticing, researching all these fascinating connections between the entertainment and the news. So that's one thing, interesting coincidences. But then you find out the news events that are foreshadowed are invariably the fake ones. So what does it mean when these significant coincidences within the media ecosystem, the media ecosystem being mainstream, news, and all the entertainment, but the synchronization of these things is what we've been noting for some time. But if the things that are being synchronized with are fake, then it says something else. And that's key. Most people stuck in Trutherville aren't aware of the prevalence of fakery and how deep it goes. But let's just go through the reasoning here. If event A is fake, we'll say terror attack. We'll say there's a terror attack And it was accompanied by real-time drills in the same location and a TV show about such a hypothetical event just happens to be released right before. Okay, so now we're looking at coordination, and then the immediate response from people who are inside the box, who presume everything is compartmentalized, will say, well, that's just a coincidence. There's no way there could be collusion here. And one of the talking points from a lot of the conspiracy theorists who get into the realm of looking at these things, they'll say, man could not have done this. Even as late as 2025, I've seen pretty big channels saying, man could not have done this. It's like a mantra. Must be higher than man powers. But these aren't Christians, so they're not saying God's doing it. God is inspiring James Cameron to foreshadow 9/11 and the Titanic. God is inspiring Stanley Kubrick to foreshadow every major transformative psyop of the 20th century, from the JFK assassination on. No, they don't say God, because the people who promote this stuff aren't God believers. So they say higher than man. They leave it vague. And if you corner them, they'll say the simulation. But they don't like to be cornered on it, which is really, it's kind of disingenuous. Like, why be satisfied with a vague non-answer when we have the answer here? Man manipulates man with media. Man manipulated man with religion. Nothing has changed. But the significance of our findings are difficult to overstate. And if you don't think it's significant, then you're not thinking about it. We're talking about systemic fakery and the deliberate entrainment between entertainment and psyop events, simulated news for the purposes of mass mind control. This is worldview warfare, and it's successful. They've already won. They've already won. Imagine if some religion had just taken over the world and they controlled all media. They get their hands into the science and warp everything to fit their preconceived worldview. And they take a heavy-handed control over everything. Culture, cosmology. It's like everything is just basically falling into their box. This religion, we would say, well, this isn't right. We're all just part of the same religious cult. What about free thinking? But this particular religion has disguised itself with science and the illusion of objectivity. So one of the built-in assumptions people have about news and media is that the camera is objective, or that it even can be. You can be a completely honest and objective person with a good heart, and you can go to a scene and record it and report faithfully, but your organization is a liar. You can be a pure-hearted missionary thinking you're saving souls, but you're working for the demiurge and his institution, which is there to bring darkness upon the face of the earth. I mean, good intentions don't really matter here. Naivety is not a pass. Doesn't give you a pass. And right now, there's this, I think it's an exploitable rift